Yes, I've been trying to come for so long. I've been touring for more than a decade and in Europe, and I've been trying to make a show in Hungary. I've not even had one show, let alone in Budapest. Every year, it's almost very close, and then so it's a big honor for me to be here. I'm very excited, and I feel a real affinity with the just sort of the nature of tradition and the beautiful architecture and sort of I feel there's sort of like a very spiritual thickness here that for me is a lot of fun, because I like to get my hands dirty in that and really get in there and just pull on it and have people just pull back and just see what happens. I just love it. We've been here for 10 seconds now. And in that moment, your wonderful makeup artist took me from looking like the person who has been driving 10 hours a day every day to play a concert and get in the van again and go and go and go and go. And I think I looked a little bit like that, and now look, ta-da, ready for the show. This is Jeannot, first of all. This is Jeannot. I got it, thanks.
Yeah. I'll be playing drums on some songs. Dominic Cramp also plays drums on one song. And we both play some keyboards and electronics, and I play viola. And Tara Barnes is playing bass guitar. And we all have some amount of pedals and electronics and things to make some noise.
Even before the core trio, it started actually just with myself, and then each time there was another performance or another recording or another tour, there was different people and different people working on the recordings who were not even playing on them, etc. And then just a while ago, we got pretty solid in the lineup with Jeannot and Dominic and Tara. Tara is always with me, thank God. And Dominic, we're very solid now. I think it's a really good group. But still, when we record, there will be guests. There's always guests. And if somebody shows up and we meet them or they can do it, we'll have more musicians in the group. It's kind of a matter of what we can afford, what they can afford, if they're busy, whatever it is. But it's really important to mix the music up, to shake it up every time, always shake it up and change it, because we're not trying to bring something to people that they can already have. We're trying to bring something to them and ourselves that we haven't had before. And it's important. It's a trip to take. Music in general, I think the music that's worthwhile, you can go there, you can step in and experience something, even if it's a piece of classical music that you've heard before. If something about it is fresh and you feel the life in it, it's gonna fill your spirit. And that is what we're trying to do. So with the changing lineups, it really makes it's like a shortcut to achieving that. Because you could play the same song and it's completely different. So it's fabulous. But right now, the four of us. The Neon Veins was my first band. It was a really fun punk band. But it was very short, and we had no money, and we never toured. The end. Great punk band, though, I think. Ethel Meatplow was a band that was just dancing and sexuality, really super offering an alternative to the drug culture of young people. At that time, there were a lot of people dying of drug overdoses and stuff in LA. And there was also AIDS was a really big issue in Los Angeles and many cities and countries, as you know. And Ethel Meatplow was a kind of a response to that as well. It was a really horrible. I mean, really, I know a lot of people that died of AIDS because I was alive in that period of time. And we joined together with sort of a society of people, a lot of people that were gay, a lot of people that were like off drugs, had been on drugs, but had chosen this other way, as with myself. And there was like a celebration of life and funniness and humor and hardcore, like just hardcore way of living, just really all the way out. But like, you know, but at the same time, doing it in a way that didn't take the easy way out with drugs and stuff like that. I mean, drugs are great in certain instances, but when you get into really hardcore drug use with certain drugs that we all know, it doesn't really lead anywhere. And so we were just offering like a very fun, it's really quite different than what I do now. Fun, it was just like a lot of fun, a lot of dancing. And it was in the context of a very, very big rock resurgence in, like, the punk scene had ended and it had turned into this like kind of going into metal, but not like how metal is funny now, like the first one. and we just decided to make a band. We were all punk rockers, and we decided to make a band with no guitars, and just to be such, you know, we just decided to be like, okay, you know, call us whatever you want, and it really did piss a lot of people off, and we were happy for that. And then the Geraldine Fibbers was like, I thought it was a rock band. It was called more of a country band, and we played a lot of country stuff, but I thought it was a rock band. I really loved it. And that's where I got into my addiction for strings, like playing with strings. And John will tell you, Jano will tell you that I'm passionate about playing with stringed instruments. And I just I find strings to be, again, sort of a shortcut into like just reaching in and fucking, see, told you, sorry. Reaching in and just grabbing somebody by the balls, by the soul, and just going like, are you gonna do this or are you not gonna do this? Like right now, let's do it. And let's do it. Let's live our lives. Let's do it right now. This is it, right now. Gone, 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 gone.
From strings, eh?
Yeah, from strings. From strings.
What does a violin have to do with all that?
Because a violin, well, okay, I prefer a viola, but a violin, there's something about the actual strings. I mean, it's the perfect name for it. There's something about the strings. They rub together. It's like the bow on the strings. And it's hollow and it's wood and it's old, and there is nothing you can do to make it new. It's old. Even you plug it in, you amplify it, you put a million pedals on it, that thing is older than dirt. You know, I mean, you can make it right now and it'll be like, this has never been played. It's still old. And there's something about history, you know, and just that kind of thing that's what we share in terms of like our lineage, our heritage, where we come from, you know, like the fact that we're connected as people, you know, and I think that music is everything to do with that. I promised John I wasn't going to be the only one talking, but no, I'm totally going off now. Yeah, that's, you know, that I expect to be, I expect a lot from people, and I expect people to hold me accountable to that. Like I expect people to step up and grab their opportunities and just don't let go. And I expect that they will do that with me. That if I promise that I'm going to bring all my strength, and that I'm going to sing until my voice is gone, and that I'm going to try to reach them as hard as I can, and that it's not bullshit. Like, it really isn't. It really isn't. I'm not here to make money. There's no money. There is no money. I'm telling you right now. And I mean, we're going to get paid whatever we get paid. It's going to be generous as possible, for sure. Everything that they can give us. But nobody has a lot of money right now. And it's just like, what I'm doing here is I'm going to bring it. And it makes me healthy. It keeps me strong. I need it. and I feel like I want something back from the audience. I'm not here to entertain. It's not what I'm doing. I'm not entertaining you. What I'm doing is coming in and taking my part and expecting that we all have a role in something that's going to happen, and it won't last long, you know. So we only have that time together, and we need to make something happen. Evangelista is the sort of like the realization of everything I just said, in terms of, you know, I've been growing up. I think that it took me a long time to grow to be even, you know, what most people have figured out when they're 25. It took me until I'm 40, you know, like, where I'm like, oh, okay. And Evangelista is what I have grown to understand as the most powerful way that I can give what I want to give with my art. And that's what I want to give is a connection. I want to connect with people, and I want to say, if you have a choice, don't choose mediocrity. Don't do it. You know, like, get up, stand up for yourself, and grab your own. And, you know, this, whether you make music or not, this kind of period of time is, you know, it's all we have. And I don't mean to sound new agey, but it is really. And it's funny because for me, coming from the United States, we don't have the history and stuff that you guys have here. We don't have the kind of, well, I can't really point right here at the architecture, but we don't have, it's a little hard to say what I'm trying to say, but we don't have the history that makes it, it's harder in some ways in the United States because things are plastic almost everywhere you go. They're relatively new compared to like ancient, you know, architecture and ruins and all of that. When I'm in this kind of environment, that I feel a bridge is easier to connect, and I think we should all do it. Just saying what you really think, saying what you really feel, not being afraid to be laughed at. That's really important, you know? And this is the kind of thing that I try to convey in Evangelista. A lot of it is through lyrics, and that's sometimes difficult in Europe or in other parts of the world. But I find that even if you just present yourself and put yourself to where you're totally raw and you have no way to protect yourself, that people feel it. And then they have a choice whether they want to take what you're offering or not. And I'm offering, and I'm also expecting something from you. With Evangelista, you know, it's like, I've said like different names for it. I don't know that there's an exact name. Do you have what do you think?
Gospel noise, art rock.
Gospel noise, art rock? No, that sounds right. I mean, you know, those are good descriptions.
Evangelista definitely defies musical categories.
Yeah, it's pretty hard to put a name on it. I don't know. I mean, our show right now is pretty rock, actually. It's pretty rock.
Noisy, improvisational.
Yeah, there's a lot of improvising. There's a lot of us sort of like figuring out what the other people are doing and then like fitting yourself in there, you know, and trying to sort of like stir it up and make it work. And so that's like, I guess that's improvisation, basically. I do stuff like that, but this is less like that. I do a thing called Eyes for Ears, which is more like that. This is basically a rock show, but when I say that I mean, you'll see when you see it probably. It's when I say that it's real, it's real. It's not, there's no bullshit, really. I mean, there's no point, you know, it's not an easy life. There's absolutely no point in doing it if you're gonna just like if you're not gonna be yourself and really just find everything you can in there and get it out, you know, like to me, other than that, I don't see why anybody would work that hard. I mean, there's easier jobs, you know. So, I mean, although, look at this. So, maybe there is a reason. No, of course there's a reason. I'm not saying I don't appreciate the life. It is a great life. But you do give up a lot as well. Like, I don't have a place to live, for example. That's something.
You get used to it.
You get used to it. I'm in my 7th year of not living anywhere because I want to play my music. But look, here I am. So you can't really complain, can you? There's a lot of significance for both sides of the continent for me. Where I grew up in San Pedro is more influential on me because it's such a very strange and beautiful place, and it's nothing like anywhere in Los Angeles, but it's connected to Los Angeles, so they call it that. But it's a harbor town, and it's a working class town, and it's very disconnected from outside, and it's very much a town. You know, it has its beginning and end. And this place for me was a lot to do with my music, actually, because I learned a lot of very hard lessons there that were really ugly and beautiful, but really ugly. Like, down all the way as you can go ugly. And then I spent my life clawing my way out of what happens to a child's mind when those sort of things happen to her. And as a result of that is my music. So I can't complain. But, you know, Pedro, New York, I don't know. I feel bad for New York. I wish New York would stop what they're doing. They're changing a lot there now. New York is fabulous. I just wish that they would let the poor people stay. That's all, because they were really cool. Yeah, except there isn't really a way to tell because it's always different. Yeah, I mean, this question is gonna not really go anywhere because it's always different. Sometimes the lyrics start first, definitely on mood. Everything depends on mood, yeah. I mean, I try to be basically led around like I'm in the dark and I'm trying to find the light switch or whatever it is. I try to stay out of, another way I say it sometimes is I try to stay out of my own way and just see where it goes, because I find that gives the easiest and best results. So if I write, it's because I have to write something, and then I'll look at it then or 2 years later or whatever, and maybe something comes from it. And then if there's an album to write, I do it very fast. Yeah, I don't know how to explain though, really. It's all different. Sometimes somebody will write something and bring it, and then I will find a way to get involved in that, and vice versa. Like sometimes I'll write something and bring it, and I mean, it's a group, you know. I want it to be a group. I'm the leader of the band, but I'm really, really into the collaboration aspect of it. So a lot of times I just try to actually just leave space and question marks that I am not going to answer, and just leave space for it to be filled in. Because I'm really interested in what it sounds like to have more than one person contributing to an idea. I do like to write by myself sometimes too, but in Evangelista, I try to share at least half the writing. I mean, I probably write more than half, but I probably like try to share at least the other half, you know? But it's my favorite. I love it. I love writing music. It's fun. Well, we are doing a song from the Geraldine Fibbers that I haven't performed live in more than a decade, and it's my favorite song from that band. It's called Lily Bell, and Lily Bell is a song written in a moment where I was quite like panicked with despair, which is fairly typical actually, because that's when I get a really, like, I have to write or else I'm gonna freak out. So, but it ended up being a song about a girl, and I named her Lily Bell, and it's just a song about a girl just fighting her way out of a situation that seems hopeless. And we're gonna do it tonight, and that's pretty special, I think. And John's playing viola on it, and the way that we pulled it together was quite difficult because the Geraldine Fibbers were a 5-piece band with a full drum set and upright bass with a bow and everything. So it's cool. We're making it
and
a lot.
And there's some new songs from future record.
Yeah, yeah.
There's some new material from unreleased records that will come out in the future.
It looks like I'm going to do a new Constellation album, but as a solo album. And we're actually writing music for that a lot, just the two of us right now, and we intend to sort of expand it into a thing with including more musicians. So far the music is pretty spacious. It's a lot simpler than the music I've been doing for a while and that we did on our last album. And I'm doing this because Tara and Dominic are right in there, so that's why I keep. Yeah, I think also the thing that's happening right now is that I'm not tortured in my life and I'm not super sad, so the songs are not as dark, I guess.
They're pretty dark.
You think they're pretty? Oh, actually, yeah, I guess they're pretty dark.
They're just not as personal.
Okay,
they're not
well,
as like painfully.
Actually, Let It Roll is pretty personal. That one, yeah, they're dark.
Is it?
Never mind. I probably won't escape that this lifetime.